Hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here and today it is time for part number 3 of our FIFA 18 Career Mode Wishlist. This is of course where I bring you some ideas that you guys have brought to me in the comment section, also some of my own ideas for implementations that could be added to FIFA 18 Career Mode. Some good and cool ideas for things that should really be in Career Mode by now and we would love to see in FIFA 18. But before we get into this video, I just want to say just a quick thank you that I uploaded a video recently about the worst player in Career Mode, a 1 overall player, aka the box, and people seem to like it. It got a very good reception, so a lot of people were asking for it to come back. I just wanted to let you know that it will be coming back. I'll do a little mini-series about him, the Chronicles of the Box, the worst player ever to enter football or Career Mode, and the second episode of it will be up at the start of this coming week, so we're talking Tuesday. So from at the point where this video's been uploaded, we're talking about 3 or 4 days from now, so there'll be another one of those videos. Do not worry yourselves, and I will try and yeah, we'll try and make this a regular thing instead of just a one-off video, which is what I actually planned it to be, but we'll actually make it a mini-series from now. Nevertheless, getting back to this video, we've got 8 things that we would love to see in FIFA 18 Career Mode. As I mentioned, it's an amalgamation of my own ideas and also some suggestions that you put in the comments section. If you do go on to enjoy the video, then of course feel free to smash the likes button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you've got any more ideas for things that you would like to see in FIFA 18 Career Mode, drop them in the comments section and maybe I'll be able to put them in a 4th episode of this little mini-series that we've got underway at this moment in time. But moving into the ideas, the first of which, we've got reserve/under-21 teams, which has been something that has just needed to be in this game for so long, and it just isn't. I mean, we've already talked about, I think in part number 1 we were talking about like youth academy teams, but if that can't be implemented, then this has got to be at some stage. Basically, it would be an idea to promote youth academy players, or maybe young players that you've brought in that you have planned to have a role at the club in the future. You can actually allocate them to a reserve or under-21 team, like all teams have in real life. I think they're known as under-21 teams in England, but they're known as like B teams in Germany and Spain, etc. You can have an actual allocated B team, under-21 team, reserve team, whatever, and you can allocate young players to that squad so they can actually get some game time instead of wasting away on the bench, or ironically on the reserves list, as the game has it noted down as. Instead of just being on that reserves list and doing nothing, it'd be great to actually get them some game time so that they can actually grow a little bit more, and you can actually see what they're doing, you know, what their stats are like in those reserve games. You don't have to, maybe you don't necessarily have to play them, but you just get match reports every week or something. It'd just be a nice way to have your youth academy players or young players in the squad doing something, instead of just wasting away and then feeling pressurised to actually play them in a senior squad when maybe they're not ready to do so yet. Point number 2 is something that, you know, this game has been crying out for ages, and something that you guys have wanted. This was a very heavily suggested thing in the comment section. That is statistics from other leagues. We're talking top goal scorers in countries such as Spain, Italy, Germany, France. Even if you're managing in England, for example, you can actually see the statistics, the top scorers or whatever, in other leagues. And going along with something that I was talking about last time, if growth wasn't fixed like it is on FIFA 17, if growth was solely dependent on how a player played, then that would be incredibly useful to see who's in form in other leagues, so that you know who's going to grow better and who's going to develop into something. If there's a 19-year-old who scored 20 goals in Serie A this season so far, he's probably worth picking up at that point. And also it's useful for people who take the international management side of things quite seriously, because if you're managing a club that doesn't have a league, or that you're not managing in the country of your national team, you have no idea who's in form going into international fixtures, or going into a European competition, or the World Cup. You know, you've got no idea what's going on in terms of form, or who's playing well, or who deserves to be called up. So it would be nice to have that and just have a little bit more realism and just a bit more knowledge. You know, it just feels as if everything's centred around the league that you're in. Point number 3. Bring back additional funds requests. There's not really much more to say. As you can see from the graphic on the screen, there's really nothing more to say apart from just bring them back. Why did they go in the first place? They were one of the most useful things, low-key, one of the most useful things in Career Mode. The amount of time, I think I've probably, in Career Mode series on this channel, I've probably used the additional funds request 10 times, more, maybe even more than 10 plus times. It's just, like, they were so useful just to get a little bit more money, just to bring in a player or bring in a scout or whatever. It was so useful, and for some reason it's been taken out. Again, it's not something that'd be difficult to implement because it's been in FIFA recently, so it's not as if they'd have a challenge bringing it back. But yeah, just more of a puzzling one really as to why it went in the first place. But bringing back additional funds requests towards the board, that would be something that would definitely be, welcomed in FIFA 18 career mode. Moving on to point number 4, and that is training physical stats as well as skill moves and weak foot, like you can have in the journey, where Alex Hunter can train and he can actually improve stuff like his pace, his skill moves, his weak foot. Now, obviously, we're going to take this with a pinch of salt. It's not like, let's not be unrealistic here. People don't grow in pace. People don't just get pacey in real life as quickly as they do with their technical attributes. But it would be lovely to, to even if it was like a third of the speed of other attributes, in real life you could easily train someone's strength. You can make someone stronger, but you can't actually do that in training. If you've got a player who's not growing in physical attributes as well as they should be, that would be a really helpful way of improving that. And obviously not so that it's overpowered, because people's physical growth already is overpowered. But certainly for youth academy players, this would be massively useful. You could have a player with all the technical ability in the world, but if he's got 32 strength, he's going nowhere in his career. It'd be great to be able to train that, even if it's at a slower level. Even if you can max train a player's strength by +5 a season or +7 a season or whatever, in comparison to like +20 for technical attributes. It's just something, it's just helpful. And as far as it goes to weak foot and skill moves, again, having bad weak foot or bad skill moves is something that can wreck a player who's potentially really good. So again, maybe if you could grow them by, just a tiny little bit per season or whatever, again, not so that it's overpowered, it would be great. It would be great. Or maybe if they had a potential skill moves or a potential weak foot that you could grow them to. If they started at like 2-star, but actually they've got the potential to reach 4-star on weak foot and skill moves. Just something so that you don't get players utterly ruined from the start of their career purely because they can't do anything with their left foot. Point number 5, we should be able to talk and respond to players who come to us in the email section. Again, pretty self-explanatory. If a player comes to you saying, I'm not getting enough game time, boss, you should have at least 3 responses saying, okay, again, almost like the journey, fiery, balanced, and cool response or something. You can tell them, okay, you're gonna get game time in X amount of months or X amount of games. You're gonna have to just be patient, and then they can reply to that themselves, saying either A, okay, I'm willing to wait it out, and then if and see how it goes, or B, I'm not willing to be that patient, I want to be put on the transfer list now. It would just be great to be able to respond and explain why you're doing things, because at the moment I'm getting players who are, squad rotation players, saying they're not getting enough game time when I've told them they're a squad rotation player. And it would be great to just say, look, you're not going to get any game time now. You're not going to get any game time now, but in 3 months from now, maybe you'll get some. Do you wait it out, or do you want to go out on loan and then they'll respond or whatever? It just makes it 10 times easier to actually deal with players on the game, or deal with scenarios on the game, transfer requests, all that sort of thing. Contracts. Ask a player what he wants in terms of a contract. If he's haggling and negotiating about it, that would be just a ton easier. So the ability to respond to players' emails and respond to even other people's emails, your physio, whatever, I don't know, it would be more useful with players, obviously, but the ability to have conversations with them would be very much welcomed. 6th thing I want to talk about is more specific youth scouting. Not just physically strong or goalkeeper. I'd like to be able to say, actually, I would quite like a pacey winger. So, aka, I mean, obviously, let's not be over the top with it. Let's not say I want a player with 83 or above sprint speed. But let's nail it down a little bit more. If it's all well and good saying I want a winger, but if I get a winger who's got 1-star skill moves, and that's not what I want, that's not ideal. I'd like to be able to say I want a skillful winger who's guaranteed to have maybe 3-star or 4-star skill moves, or guaranteed to have like 75 dribbling or something like that, and just be able to actually slim it down a bit more and specify exactly the type of player that you want them to try and bring back. Every player might not be like that, but maybe an increased chance of getting that type of player. I don't know, a defender who's a bit pacey, a striker who's good in the air, not just a striker, which is currently what it is. It's literally just like a attacking player. That's literally all you can do. So it'd be great to be able to make it more attribute based instead of just the position that they play in. But ultimate thing we are going to talk about in this particular part of the wish list is fixing homesickness. Again, very self-explanatory. If I've got a player who's from Austria, who's playing for my English team, he says he's homesick and then moves to another team in England, it just makes no sense. It just makes no sense at all. He should go back to Austria. And I mean that in the least racist way possible. Like, genuinely, you know, if he's homesick, then he should genuinely move back to an area where he feels less homesick. Why is my Australian goalkeeper telling me he's homesick because he lives on the other side of the world and then moving to Spain? That makes no sense at all. Like, he should go to somewhere at least close to where he lives. Final thing we're going to talk about is better total club management, because although everyone was really excited by this addition at the start of the game cycle, it's done nothing for the game mode, because what do? You don't do anything. You just get a more detailed report on how many tickets were sold and how many shirts are being sold. If you could actually influence that in some way, or you were met with situations or scenarios that change the way you manage the team, or something based upon what you do in total club management. If you decide I'm gonna, you know, you could actually have control over ticket prices. If I'm the manager and I'm in total club management, I decide actually I'm gonna make ticket prices lower, so fans are more, you know, are more likely to come to games. You know, that might bring in more money, or it might have an adverse effect and it might bring in less money and it'll, you know, change my standing with the board or something. Because at the moment it's just a pointless aesthetic screen that does nothing, that you can't actually interact with really, apart from the budget allocation which we had before. So, you know, it's also quite a cool way of getting board objectives, but apart from that, it really doesn't influence yourself as a manager at all, and you can't influence it whatsoever. So some sort of way to actually interact with total club management would be great, because at the moment there's really nothing you can do. It's almost pointless it being there. Nevertheless, that is basically end of part 3 of the wish list for FIFA 18 career mode. Let me know what your thoughts are on the things that were discussed in this video, and as I said at the start, make sure to leave any more suggestions that you've got for ideas for FIFA 18 career mode in the comment section below. It has been a pleasure though ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
Yo, biddy bang, biddy boo. Man can't fuck with the Nottingham crew. Put 1, 2, 9 holes in the queue. Wanna ride on me, you better change that route. I'm a lyrical animal straight out of the zoo. Big mate, man, big like Big Zoo. 15 going OC on my own, done it all alone. I never been a bring true. KYE, the hardest YG, my G, better know he kicks like Kung Fu. Try me, you must